Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me tonight, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. What's going on tonight, Hinks?
Saw that thumbnail and I was immediately like, hey, Shane, because my brain is broken by the internet.
It's great because our producer tonight, Shane from PHNX, chipping in. He made an awesome graphic for us, and it's obviously we're going to talk a little Goss Despair because we're obsessed. And
of course,
listen, it's as soon as they give me something else to be obsessed with, I'll maybe move on one day. But we actually yesterday, Kelly, we did the mailbag show, you and I. And one of the questions, it came in a little late and I didn't add it to the outline. I wish we had got to it. So now that, Phoenix is gone and like Utah is a totally different team, when do we get our player to be named later or whatever from the Ghost trade? And I was like, well, technically it's like, I think on Hockey Reference, they have it listed as unknown compensation. It was literally nothing. There is no one to be named later.
Maybe it's just a high five.
Yeah, maybe. But that's that. Tonight we have Flyers Hurricanes coming to you live from the Wells Fargo Center. It is the 7th of the 7-game homestand. They are finally wrapping this thing up. 2 straight weeks, 7 games, all at home. They're not going to go winless, Hinkle. They picked up the win just a couple of nights ago against, of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Why wouldn't that be the game they win?
Just as we all predicted.
2-0, both in shootouts against the Lightning this year. But tonight it is the Canes. The Canes are red hot. They've won 6 in a row. But we need to start, of course, with tonight's lineup. And Jordan Hall tweeted out earlier that it will be the same, which makes a ton of sense. Risto and Hathaway still banged up. You thought, okay, if they're healthy, maybe they come back in. But they are still out. And after you beat Tampa, it makes sense not to change anything. I don't even know if they have anybody else at this point to sub in.
Yeah.
That will be that. It will be the same lineup. It will be Sam Ersson in net as well. And he's coming off of an okay game. And was it great? Like you stopped 17 out of 20. It's like, well, all right, 850 save percentage actually brings his save percentage since Four Nations up a point because it was 847. Now it's 848. But he stopped the 17 of 20. He stopped the one official shot he faced in overtime. And then 4 or 5 in the shootout. I had forgotten that he was poor in shootouts this season because he was so good last year. It was like a thing.
Yeah.
But he came up huge against, Kucherov wasn't there, but that is still a tremendously skilled team. What do you think we can expect from Sam tonight? He's going to face a ton of shots. That's Carolina. That's what they do. They shoot from everywhere, still letting in some leaky goals. Are you optimistic at all that Thursday was something maybe for our number one goalie to build on, Hinkle?
I don't have any idea. If anything, I expect probably more of the same, which is just like, that was an okay game. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's never like, I would be shocked if in post game, I'm like, dang, that was a great game from Sam Ersson. It's just going to be like, fine.
It's kind of just been
or
that
terrible, fine or terrible. One of those.
Like if you want to point at some of the games where maybe he had the low save percentage, but he made big saves, like that Edmonton game where I think they held him to 20 in that one, or it was fewer, like 18, I think they held them to. He stopped 15 out of 18. It's like, he gave up 3 to Edmonton. It's not the worst, but also, I don't know, give up 2. But I think that's what we can expect out of Ersson. If I had to guess tonight, it's going to be, he's going to make some big, impressive saves, maybe even some clutch saves. and there's going to be one goal that you're like, ah.
At least
like,
one,
especially with the way they kind of fire from everywhere. He tends to just give up a little one or two leaky goals here or there. And when you look at, oh man, that highlight reel looks pretty good. And then you look at the numbers at the end and go, like that's kind of, I think that's what we have to expect from Ersson unless he goes on another heater. But given his workload right now, I don't think we can expect that.
No, it's we don't have any goaltenders that are going to win us hockey games. I think best we can hope for ever is don't lose us the hockey game. So maybe we can get a Sam Ersson that won't lose us the hockey game tonight.
That would be a lot of fun. Still waiting on the official lines. I don't think I've seen them yet. But again, got to believe everything's going to stay
probably the same, right? Yeah.
Like, what are you going to break up the Brink line? You know, they seem really interested in keeping that Couturier, Tippett, Michkov line together. And that leaves us with our boy TK and him up on that Kate's line with Tyson Forster. And I thought that was going to be okay. This is a good way to get TK going, get him in the offensive zone. He didn't have, all that impressive of a game on Thursday. And then the shootout, in which I have gone from thinking he's hurt, gone from thinking he's overthinking to he's cursed.
Cursed by which?
Think about a guy who burns a goalie to his left-hand side, and then the puck hits the post and then comes out, hits the crossbar, hits the right-hand post, and somehow stays out of the net. I don't even know what to make. Obviously, like it wouldn't count, like that wouldn't stop the goal drought or anything, but it would be at least he saw it go in the net. That maybe builds some confidence or something for him. What do you expect him to break out this year? Do you think it's what is going on with TK? Do you think, Hanks?
He's got to score a goal again, right? Like before the end of the season, he's got to score a goal.
That's a little. We'll get to the bets in a bit, but I'm not going to jinx him by betting him again. I've been doing that, just thinking like, well, it's going to end eventually.
So that means tonight's the night then.
So maybe tonight is the night against the Carolina Hurricanes. But you look at the numbers. Last 26 games, 2 goals. Of course, one of them an empty netter. 20 points in the 26 games. Not like he's been absolutely invisible, but he was on the point a game pace halfway through the year, 40 goal pace. And it's just more than disappointing because I'm starting to look at it the way I looked at TK. Well, what's a career year do? Or the same way I look at Tippett. What does a career year do for us when we're, not trying to win, I guess. But just for him, just to like feel good about his game, I'm just kind of rooting for him to get a little something going in the last few weeks of this season. We have a month left. Season ends April 17th.
I certainly hope so. Just because like honestly, I don't know how he didn't just like skate off the ice and walk directly to the locker room after just he's got to be just like, I can't understand what's happening to me. I don't know what's going on.
Just reach up into the stands and grab someone's beer and you know what?
I
got no explanations here.
Yeah. I would like to see him get a goal just because I'm starting to feel bad for him as a human. Like, I don't even care about the team. Like, the team can lose every game. It's fine.
Whatever. It's good,
but this poor guy is like trying so hard and not playing. Like we said it 1,000 times, he's not playing terribly. He just cannot buy a goal.
They can't score. He can't score. These two things are correlated. We have like 2.5 guys who score goals, and he's the main one, and he's got 2 in his last 26.
Yeah, so we're getting, is it Kochekov tonight? Is that how you say it? I can't say names.
Peter Kochekov.
Okay. What you said. He's slightly worse numbers-wise than Freddie Anderson, so maybe we got that going for us?
Could be. It could be, and that could work well for our mad Russian as well, Hinks. You look at Matvei Michkov, and he came out of 4 Nations. You could tell he was re-energized, whatever. He looked good again. And now it's no points in the last 3 games. And listen, he's not going to be a point-a-game guy as a rookie. We know that. And this schedule has been nuts. They've been playing every other day. Again, it's been, 7 games in the last 13 days or something. Like, it's been it's been a ton of games. Not a lot of days off to rest up or anything. You look at the rookie scoring race, Hinks, he is at 47 points, which is back down to third. Celebrini hit 49. Hudson is at 51. Celebrini crossed the 20-goal mark as well. They're both tied for the rookie lead with 20. I think he's going to get hot. Yeah, I think he's going to get hot. I think he's going to end with, well over 50 points in all likelihood. But it's like, damn, it really felt as if he was going to make that push. And without exceeding and then some what Hudson and Celebrini are doing, I don't think he can be anything more but third on anyone's ballot.
Well, if I had a ballot, Bill, Lane Hudson is a defenseman and all of his points are secondary assists, so he can go somewhere. I would put Wolf on before I put Hudson on, honestly.
I was thinking about Wolf today, and what he's doing is impressive. And with that team, especially, they were, their fans are like, why aren't we rebuilding? And it's like, well, because we can't get out of any of these contracts. And they had such a season where they were like, yeah, we're not selling at the deadline. And that's kind of got a lot to do with what Dustin Wolf has done. But I was in a conversation about Bobrovsky today. And think about what he did as a rookie. 9-15, started over 50 games. They were the 2 seed in the East. You know what he finished that year in Calder voting? 7th. In fact,
they don't like goalies.
They really don't. Considering everyone recognizes that this is, if not the only important thing, the thing with the most outsized impact on the results, they just don't seem to consider goalies all that much. Corey Crawford, actually, that Bob rookie year, finished 5th, I believe, 4th or 5th, and he had a 9-17. He was awesome for the Blackhawks. Now, it's a little different with the Blackhawks coming off a cup win the year before. Flyers with Bob, you lost the cup the year before, so maybe they got dinged for how good their teams already were. But so maybe that works in Wolf's favor with Calgary. But you look at the betting odds, and Wolf is a distant 4th right now. So Michkov, I guess, will at least be a finalist.
I mean, that's cool, but it would have been cooler if he had won it. And I don't want to relitigate the entire season, but I do wonder if there was if Torts was doing what Hudson's coach and what Celebrini's coaches are doing, which is throwing them out there all the time to score goals and points, maybe something different would happen.
And maybe if,
but then he wouldn't have learned all those lessons.
He wouldn't have learned all those very important.
Learn those lessons. Yeah,
I am just so torn because I think it's going to pay some dividends. I do think John Tortorella as a teacher, it might be those things he recognizes 5, 8, 12 years from now. But it will pay off throughout his career. But for our own enjoyment this year, I would have rather see him play 20 minutes and see what happens.
Just for once, I would like John Tortorella to think about us. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think he goes out of his way to make sure we're as unhappy as possible. Yes. Quite a bit of the time. But I have a couple of notes here from Jordan Hall about Michkov and the rookie season he's having. Now, I don't know how much this is going to go into voting and everything, but this first one, he's the only player in the NHL, not rookie, only player in the NHL with 3 or more OT goals and 3 or more shootout goals. I realize these are specialty things, and it's when he's wide open and this and that, all that space, it's not 5-on-5. But that's coming up clutch in a way that I don't know if you can say the other two have had, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This just tells me you can couch it in 1,000 different ways. It just tells me he's clutch.
Yeah, and that is an awesome thing. You weren't there for Thursday's post game. It was me and Steve, but
yeah. When
he scores that shootout goal and just turns to the crowd and he's like, no, come on, give me a little more.
Yeah.
Let's go. That dude, regardless of, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in the Calder voting, we have something special on our hands. He is ice cold. He is he seems right now like that guy who will come through in those moments for us. And if nothing else, that's freaking exciting.
I honestly can't wait for him to experience playoff hockey in Philadelphia.
I honestly, Kelly, I can't wait for it for us, to be quite honest
I
with
know.
you.
Yeah.
As much as I love Mishin, that's going to be a great thing for him, a great feeling. It doesn't appear as if it's going to happen this year. Who knows? Maybe they win out, maybe they win out. But it will be awesome. And he was actually asked, Michkov actually had a little press scrum the other day with translator Slava Kuznetsov, and he was asked about the Calder Trophy race. And he said, not really a focus for him. My main thing is to keep working. You can say anything about this guy. And he says, like, it's kind of hard not to think about, because they show the stats on the Jumbotron every night. But at least, like, outwardly, in a year where there could have been, maybe not drama, but a little, like, he rankles at some things. Every time we've heard him speak or have been told what he said through a translator, he's saying the right stuff. And that's
it seems like he's a great attitude.
That's positive as well. Yeah, he's going to put in the work. And I am, when Charlie told me the other day, he expects Mish to, like, go off next year, like an 80 or 90 point season. Charlie is not one to, he's not us, he's not. No. He's not the fan that we are. He is certainly not the hyperbolic optimist that I can be, and that I hope hasn't been lost on you if he's 5 straight years out of the playoffs. But when I hear that, I'm like, so he sees it too. Like, everyone sees how special this guy is, and I kind of think we might get a game out of him tonight. Last game of the homestand. I am looking forward to seeing what we get out of Mish tonight, but I'm not going to jinx him either. And that brings us to the bets tonight, Hinkle. We have a couple of bets. Let's just say this pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 2 bets tonight. And I'm not taking any Flyers to score. I am going to take Cam York over 2.5 block shots at plus 145. A lot of things go into this. First and foremost, it's the Hurricanes. They have 90 shot attempts a game. They fire from everywhere. Cam York, he's starting to get the block volume back a little bit. It's one thing I started to notice about Cam York this year was, like, I think Charlie brought it up a few shows ago. It's not just we really could use some offense out of this guy, or, hey, I don't know, he's getting caught flat-footed in the D zone a little. That's not him. The block shots numbers, like, he started to look like Nick Seeler out there at times last year, and it really fell off for a little bit this season. He had 3 blocks on Thursday. He's had at least 3 in 3 of the last 6. So he's getting back to some volume shot blocking again after falling off. I think he's going to have a good game, and at plus 145 for 3 blocks against a team that shoots so much, I'm absolutely going to take it. And then hometown boy Eric Robinson, an anytime goal at 10-1, Hinkle. Hollydale alumni, I always root for our guys. Belmar, New Jersey native, good friend of the Goudreaus and all that. He and his brother Buddy. They all kind of grew up playing in high school and at Hollydale together. We're going to take Eric Robinson to score at, basically his hometown arena. And Flyers are one of the teams he's been most productive against. He's having a career year this year, 13 goals. He's already tied for his career high in points as well. Why not throw a 10-1 on Eric Robinson to score against the Flyers? He's done it a few times in the past. He's, shorthanded specialist. Who the hell knows what's going on at the point with our power play? So that could come into play for us. He's fast as hell. I'm gonna be rooting for our guy a little bit, especially after seeing some results from earlier today. Hinks, we got a big regulation win for the Penguins. So a loss tonight for the Flyers will basically put them by points percentage in that 6th from the bottom spot. The
Sabres
Penguins
won too, I think.
And the Sabres won as well. Maybe a little heater for them. We'll talk about the standings and stuff in post-game, but it's at least for the next week, schedule real favorable for the tank, and then the opponent quality really goes. So the Flyers need to bank some losses here if we want to get into that top 5. But I do want to spend some time tonight talking about those Carolina Hurricanes and just the absolute nemesis they have been against the Flyers for the last like 3 or so seasons, going back to 21-22. Carolina has won 12 of 14 meetings against the Flyers and 7 straight in Philly. The Flyers' two wins. The Flyers' 2 wins have been in November of 2021 at Carolina. They won 2-1. And where's this other one here? November of 2023, they won 3-1 in Carolina. That's it. So early season on the road over the last 3 years are the only times they've been able to beat the Canes. They have killed the Flyers lately.
They're a very good hockey team.
They really are. And
I didn't realize just how badly the Flyers perform against them. So that kind of makes me think maybe tonight might be a good one for the tank.
Could be.
Or this will be the extremely Flyers move of going on like a 10-game winning streak from here to the end of the season. Because
you can't rule anything out with these guys.
You really can't.
Because like they are the most frustrating freaking team. I know, like, we're doing this, and like I said earlier, our producer tonight, Shane, he's helping out. He's from PHNX, and like they lost their team. Like how we're so frustrated, you know. We still have a team. But they are such a Jekyll and Hyde. You don't really know what to get. Like they come out, play a great game, and beat Tampa. They lose to Seattle. Yeah, you just have no idea what to expect from the Flyers. But we have kind of come to know what to expect from these Canes. But they got a lot going on with them as well. Now, they've won 6 in a row. Like, they've really responded to kind of again, I don't know if you want to call it like, like Mikko Rantanen was there 2 weeks. It's not as if they lost their buddy or anything.
No.
But they made a bold move to go and try to get a player, a superstar in Mikko Rantanen, and give themselves the one thing they believe they're missing. It's the reason they've fallen off in the playoffs. Like, yeah, man, you win the the expected goals battle, and you don't give up a ton. You just can never seem to score that goal. So they went and got themselves that guy. And shortly after arriving, he told them, "Yeah, I ain't staying." Have you heard anything? Because we've seen Dr. T, we've seen Eric Tulsky kind of making the rounds recently. And listen, this is what you do in a situation like that. We saw the Flyers management everywhere after the Cutter Gauthier situation. It's like, can you explain this a little? And have you seen anything about what Dr. T has been saying about what happened?
So I forget which podcast he was on. I think it might have been Merrick's show.
Merrick is what I saw him on most recently.
Yeah, and he said, like, we're a team that's going to take chances. Like, we're going to go for it and swing for the fences. And sometimes when you do that, it doesn't work out exactly as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm wanting, like, do I want Danny Briere to be more like that or less like that? I want him to be more like that. Like, I want him to take bold chances and do things that he thinks is going to make the team better. And that's what Tulsky is doing. And you can't really fault them for going for it. I don't think. Like, I feel like a lot of people like to criticize that team's front office because they don't want the nerds to win any kind of battle.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's a
Broad Street Hockey's own Eric Tulsky is in fact one of the smartest people that ever lived. So a lot of people for some reason are like rooting for them to fail, which is very strange to me. But, you know, they tried. It didn't work out, and they decided that it would be better for them to try to recoup some assets than go for it in the playoffs. And I guess probably, like, with a guy that's openly telling you, I don't want to be here, how much are you going to get from him? You know what I mean? Like, is he really going to give you everything? I guess probably, because they're professional athletes and they don't know how to do anything else. But, you know, they turned around, they got a couple of good assets from Dallas, and moving on with things. So,
and
I mean, like,
their trophy bet, you know?
Right. Like, obviously, I'm sure they would have rather Rantanen been really enthused about being in Carolina and wanting to stay there and taking their contract offer and all that stuff, but he didn't, and they made the best out of it. So, like, it's a win as far as I'm concerned.
I was absolutely ready to, like, oh man, Tulsky, I don't know. I think he might have screwed this up. And listen, it's his side of the story, and we'll probably never hear Mikko Rantanen lay everything out from his perspective because players just don't do that. But it sounds like they called him when trade negotiations were going on with Colorado and said, hey, man, do you want to sign right now? And he said, dude, I was only planning on negotiating with Colorado. That's where my focus is. And then when the trade goes through, it's like, okay, we're going to take our chances. They gave him some time. And then he eventually went to them and was like, yeah, I just can't see myself staying here. They did what they had to do. And maybe you can criticize, like, try to go on the cup run with him, take a shot right before the draft. And if you can't, trade his negotiating rights, but then is your return anything? Because it's not like they gave up a ton in Marty Necas and the rest of the stuff. And then they recoup it from Dallas and he signs right away with Dallas. So that's got to be a little annoying. Sounds like he gave them some teams. Like I would
imagine. Yeah.
It sounds like he gave them 4 teams he would sign with. And that was, okay, we'll negotiate with these teams and get the best deal we can get. And as much as you want to be like, I don't know about that one. When I heard, we're going to take swings. We did it with Gensel last year. We did it with Mikko Rantanen. We are going to try to win a Stanley Cup. We're going to make bold moves. My first thought was just like yours. Yeah. That's what I want Danny to do. Like, they don't all work out. You have to take risks sometimes. And given what we believe to be like an internal budget for Carolina and all that stuff, you're working with what you have. And it's not as if they're a bad team. Again, they've won 6 in a row. It's not as if they've been killed by this. And now it's kind of, we'll see what they do in the playoffs. And if it all works out, Logan Stankoven, while he's a rookie, played in the playoffs with Dallas last year. He has that experience. Maybe that pays off for them.
Yeah, if you're going to blame anybody in this situation, it's the ownership down there. Like this is where like the people who don't like Comcast, this is where like an owner like Comcast works well for you, because they do have a hard internal cap and they do have budgetary restrictions on all kinds of things, which means that like the player experience in Carolina is probably not as nice as it is in Philadelphia, where Comcast just throws money at this team for facilities and training facilities and all that stuff that maybe they don't have as nice in Carolina. So, if you're going to blame anybody, blame their cheapskate owner. But honestly, they tried and they got the best out of a bad situation. So
they did. I want to talk just a couple more things here before we wrap up about Carolina. First, as we mentioned at the top, Shane Gostisbehere comes home. It's been so long, it feels like, but until Matvei Michkov, we haven't had anything like Shane Gostisbehere, just a electric rookie that's like doing cool stuff that you're just so excited about the future. And obviously it went the way it went. Those first 3 years here were amazing. And then he got hurt. There was coaching issues. There's all sorts of reasons it went wrong. I'm sure Ghost, it's not all on everyone else. Like Ghost could have played better at times here. Also not given the greatest of opportunity at all times. But in planning my bets tonight, like I always like to look for former Flyers and stuff just because it's what we expect. It's Philly. That's what happens. Right. Shane Gostisbehere, in 11 career games against the Flyers, Hanks, 1 goal, 1 assist. That's why he wasn't on the ledger tonight. I would have expected a lot more from him, but he's been pretty much quiet against the Flyers. Does that surprise you as much as it did me?
He still loves us. He can't bring himself to bring the killer instinct against the Flyers. Maybe, I don't know. I still love Ghost, and he's one of the few players over the last several years that I feel like are like a one that got away player. Because I do think that if they had let him be the player that he was that first season, we might have had something there.
Maybe Jamie Drysdale has like that high ceiling where they think he can be a top of the lineup guy. But right now, if Jamie Drysdale ends up being Shane Gostisbehere, hell yeah. I will absolutely take that. The career kind of resurgence he's had over the last few years. They seem to really know how to use him in Carolina. He was good in Detroit. Like I will always have a soft spot for Shane Gostisbehere. And also his birthday's 420. How do you not love that guy?
Yeah.
Real quick on Peter Kochetkov, while his overall numbers not great this year, Freddie Anderson, when healthy, has been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Last 11 games, 8-2-1 with a 9.14. And his career against the Flyers, 5 games, 4-1-0, 9-16, 1 shutout, 1-8-1 goals against. So goals probably going to be hard to come by. Hoping see a little bit of spark of offense tonight out of TK and Michkov, and everyone else can take the night off. Let's lose this one nice 4-2 or something. Help that tank, baby. Let's get it going.
Go.
All right, Hinkle. This has been PHLY Flyers Pregame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure you're following us right here on the YouTube page. We'll be back for post-game as soon as this thing goes final. Hit the subscribe, hit the reminder bell so you get notifications every time we go live. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. It's where I do all my in-game tweeting. And follow the podcast as well. Wherever you get those, just search PHLY Flyers. That's it for us. I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Until post-game, let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.